Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Ever felt like, you were stuck living someone else's life? Like your own dreams were just kind of on hold?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the heart of the Wishing Game.
Yeah.
It's this awesome novel that blends like heartwarming contemporary fiction with a touch of magical realism.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you like and subscribe so we can, keep bringing you these deep dives.
Please.
And let's just jump right in. You can find a link to The Wishing Game by Meg Shaffer in the description below.
Oh, it's a great book. It explores what happens when you get a chance to kind of rewrite your destiny. It just falls right in your lap.
I love that.
Yeah.
Such a cool concept.
It really is. And Schaffer takes this, really simple premise, right?
Right.
A contest to win an unpublished book.
Yeah.
But she turns it into this whole journey of self-discovery for these characters.
Right.
It's not even really about the prize.
Yeah.
It's about, like, confronting your joust, facing your fears,
Hmm.
and then ultimately, like, figuring out what really matters to you.
Absolutely. And so we meet Lucy Hart, right?
Yes.
She's this young woman living in California, and she feels so stuck. Like she's living this life that's just, it's less than she hoped for.
Way less.
Yeah.
And that audition process, with all the red tape and the emotional roller coaster, it becomes this huge symbol for, like, all the stuff Lucy's dealing with in the whole book.
Yeah.
She's fighting, like, outside obstacles, but then also her own doubts, her own fears.
Inner demons.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, for sure. It's almost like she's playing a game in real life,
Yeah,
just trying to figure out the rules and then win.
totally.
Yeah. And the ultimate prize is a family.
Yeah, it is.
And then, boom, she hears about this wild contest.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Masterson,
Yes.
the author of her favorite childhood book series.
The Clock Island Adventures.
Yes.
So good.
He's offering this chance to win his new, unpublished manuscript.
I mean, think about that.
I know.
The author of the books that shaped Lucy's entire childhood is suddenly, like, offering her this chance to actually step into that world.
Right.
To win a piece of that magic that, got her through all the tough times.
Right.
Destiny is calling.
Yeah.
But just like any journey, there's going to be some twists and turns.
Oh, for sure. And what's so crazy is this contest is happening on the real Clock Island.
I know.
Like, it's this place that exists between reality and fantasy.
Right. It's super quirky, whimsical. It has, like, landmarks straight from the books,
Right.
5 o'clock beach, the southernmost 6.
Yes.
It makes you wonder, like, what is Schaffer trying to tell us about the line between, like, reality and fantasy?
It's such a great question.
Yeah.
It's almost like she's saying those boundaries are, way more fluid than we think.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to, our deepest dreams.
Exactly.
Our desires. Clock Island is this, symbolic space where, the ordinary meets the extraordinary.
Exactly.
I love it. So, okay, Lucy is chosen as one of the 4 contestants. They're all, diehard fans of Jack's books, right?
Yes.
We've got Andre, the lawyer. Melanie, she owns a book school.
Love her.
I know, right? And then there's Dustin, the doctor.
Yeah.
And they all have, their own baggage.
Of course.
Their own reasons for wanting to win.
But they're all drawn to this contest by something deeper, right?
Totally. Like this longing for something more.
Yeah.
A chance to, escape the pressures of their everyday lives and reconnect with, the magic they felt as kids.
When they first read those books, the magic.
Yes, I think you're so right. And it's not just, escapism either.
No.
It's the games they're playing, the riddles they have to solve.
Mm-hmm.
It forces them to face their vulnerabilities,
Yes.
their hidden desires.
Past regrets, the whole 9 yards.
Jack designed these challenges, not just to, test how well they know his books,
Right.
but to test their character.
Exactly.
And to push them to grow and evolve.
And as we follow their journey, we start to ask ourselves the same questions, right?
Totally.
What are our hidden desires?
Ooh, I like that.
What games are we playing in our own lives?
It's so true. You can't read this book without thinking about your own life.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Your own dreams and disappointments.
Oh, sure.
Then there's Hugo Reese.
Oh, Hugo.
Right, he's the illustrator of the Clock Island books. And at first he seems so cynical and, reclusive.
Right. And what's interesting is he represents, like, that disillusionment when we realize, like, the real world doesn't always live up to those childhood fantasies.
Right.
He's seen the dark side of Clock Island.
Oh, yeah.
The broken dreams and the hopes that have, like, shattered.
And he's carrying around so much pain himself.
I know.
With losing his brother in that tragic accident.
So sad.
But as we get into the story, we see him soften, especially towards Lucy.
Yeah, he becomes like a mentor, a guide through, this really confusing world.
Right. And their relationship is so key to the novel's themes of healing and redemption. You
Yeah,
know, they both need something from each other.
absolutely.
Lucy needs someone who, gets her struggles.
Yes.
And Hugo needs a reason to, like, believe in hope and joy again.
I love that. And there's definitely something brewing between them, right? That
Mhm.
underlying tension, a little hint of romance.
Yes.
Shacker's so good at like layering that romance,
Hmm.
keeping us guessing about how it's all going to play out.
That's what keeps us hooked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, on top of everything else, there are secrets,
Oh, yeah.
hidden truths that just, like, slowly unravel.
Throughout the story, yeah.
We learn about Lucy's strained relationship with her family, especially with Angie, her sister.
Right.
And Jack actually, like, sets up this surprise visit from Angie.
What?
It's almost cruel, right? Like, he's just stirring up the past on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But then you realize maybe he's doing it for a reason.
Yeah, for Lucy's own good.
It's like he's walking this fine line between manipulation and, actually caring.
Yeah,
It makes you think about the ethics of being an author.
right.
How much control should they have over their characters?
Especially when those characters are based on a real people.
It's a lot to think about. And those challenges, wow.
Intense, right?
Each one just pushes the contestants so far.
To their absolute limits.
Yeah.
They test not only what they know, but also, like, their courage,
Hmm.
their resilience.
One of the games even makes them face their greatest fear.
Oh my God. Talk about intense.
You know,
Think about what Schaffer's doing there. She takes this abstract idea, fear, and makes it a real obstacle in the game.
yeah,
It forces us to think about our own fears.
right.
What are we most afraid of? And what would it take for us to, like, actually face them?
That's brilliant. And all the while, Jack Masterson, he's this, like, enigmatic figure, pulling the strings, watching everything unfold.
The puppet master.
It's true. What's his motivation? What does he really want from these contestants?
He's such a fascinating character study.
Totally.
Part benevolent guide, part, puppet master. Like, he's play his own game.
Right. And the contestants are the pawns.
Yeah,
But what are the stakes?
right. What's his end game?
That's the mystery. That's what keeps you reading. And then we get to the climax of the contest. It's this insanely difficult literary challenge.
And it tests how well they know Jack's work.
Oh, yeah. And here's the twist. Lucy doesn't win.
I know.
Can you believe it?
I was shocked.
It's so significant because it flips the whole, typical hero's journey thing on its head.
Totally.
We're always expecting the main character to achieve their goal, to win the prize. But Shaffer throws that out the window.
She makes us rethink what success really means.
And just when you think it's over, Jack offers Lucy a different kind of prize
A job as his assistant on Clock Island.
on Clock Island.
And the promise of inheriting the house when he passes.
It's a fascinating choice because at first it seems like a consolation prize,
Yeah, you think that.
but when you really dig in, it's so much deeper than that.
Oh, yeah.
This chance for Lucy to step into a world she's always loved, to create this stable and loving home for Christopher,
Yeah,
to finally feel like she belongs.
absolutely.
And it speaks to this whole theme of second chances, right? Even when we don't reach our initial goals,
Mm-hmm.
life can throw us these detours. And sometimes they lead us to exactly where we need to be.
It's about appreciating the journey,
Yeah.
even when the destination changes.
That's a powerful message, especially in a world where everyone's obsessed with winning, no matter what.
Totally.
It seems like Lucy and Christopher get a happy ending, but I feel like there's more to this story.
Oh, there's definitely layers to unpack.
The book doesn't end with Lucy winning the contest.
It ends with her starting this brand new adventure.
Right. One that's full of possibilities, but also uncertainties.
It's about finding your place in the world.
It's not just about reaching one specific goal.
Exactly.
You always bring up the best points. Okay, there's so much more to talk about, but I think we need a pause here.
Yeah, let's let our listeners catch up.
We'll dive deeper into some of these themes in the next part.
We've only just scratched the surface of this amazing story, so picking up where we left off, I think we really got to dig into Jack Masterson's role in all of this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's not just some side character. He's like the architect of this whole experience, carefully shaping every single step these contestants take.
It's true, and that brings up a lot of questions about, like, the power dynamics at play here. Is
Yeah.
he this nice, helpful guide, or is there something kind of manipulative going on?
It's blurry, right? Like, his actions make it hard to tell. I mean,
know.
he arranges that reunion with Lucy and Angie, her sister,
Right,
and then he pushes Christopher, who usually doesn't talk to speak on the phone.
yeah.
It's like he knows exactly what to do to get a reaction out of each person.
That scene where Lucy and Hugo run into each other at that abandoned amusement park,
Oh my gosh, yes, the one from the books.
It gave me chills. Hugo warns Lucy about that girl who drowned there years ago trying to get to Jack's house.
I
It's like
know.
Jack is playing with their lives almost, reminding them that this whimsical world has some real dangers underneath.
That scene is so important.
It is.
It totally shatters that illusion of just pure escape and throws some cold, hard reality into the story.
Yeah.
Clock Island might be enchanting, but it has a dark side.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack, whether he means to or not, he shows the contestants both sides of it, the good and the bad.
And it's in those darker moments that we see how strong and resilient the characters really are.
Absolutely.
Think about Lucy's reaction when she hears that horrible news about Christopher's foster placement.
Oh, yeah.
She's ready to just give up,
Yeah.
to leave the island and accept a life without him.
But it's Hugo, of all people, the cynic, who reminds her how strong she is.
I know, right?
He encourages her to keep fighting for her dreams.
It's such a beautiful, unexpected moment of tenderness between them.
It is.
They both know what it feels like to be lost and broken. And that connection creates this bond that's so much deeper than the superficiality of the contest. It makes you wonder, would Lucy have found that strength without Hugo? Or was Jack, in his own manipulative way, kind of orchestrating that whole encounter too?
Right. That's what's brilliant about Shaffer's writing. She leaves those questions open. You're always second-guessing everyone's motives,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what these characters are really like and what their relationships are all about.
And speaking of complicated relationships, that confrontation between Lucy and Angie,
Oh, boy.
explosive.
It is.
Years of resentment and misunderstandings all come pouring out. It's hard to read.
But it's real, family stuff is rarely simple.
Right.
And Shaffer doesn't try to sugarcoat it. And then that huge revelation that Lucy was actually conceived as a potential bone marrow donor for Angie,
Oh my God.
it changes their whole childhood dynamic.
It's heartbreaking. It makes you think about how much our identity is shaped by our role in the family.
Exactly. It's like Lucy's been carrying this secret burden her whole life.
Yeah.
This feeling of not being wanted, of only being valuable, but because of her sister's illness.
And that realization makes her question everything she thought she knew about her family and herself.
Yeah. But there's also something freeing about it.
There is.
It lets Lucy finally break free from those expectations that have been weighing her down.
Yeah.
She can finally define her own worth on her own terms.
Okay, so then we get to the final challenge. This ultimate fandom test that would make anyone sweat.
Oh, yeah. Even the biggest bookworm would struggle with this one.
Jack wants them to prove not just their knowledge, but a deep understanding of his work. Like all the little details and hidden meanings.
He's really testing them.
And then he throws in that curveball, letting them fall to friend.
Oh, I love that part.
It's genius. It adds this layer of strategy and suspense.
It reminds us that even when we're doing things alone, our connections with other people can make a huge difference.
And it's Christopher, of all people, who usually avoids phone calls, who ends up helping Lucy figure out that last clue.
That is so sweet.
It is.
It shows how powerful love and acceptance can be.
Yeah.
Christopher, in his own quiet way, shows a depth of understanding that's even better than any fancy literary analysis.
It reminds us that sometimes the deepest insights come from the most unexpected places.
Exactly. And even though Lucy doesn't win the contest, the prize she gets instead is so much more meaningful.
It really is.
The job with Jack, the promise of that house on Clock Island.
It's her dream come true.
But it's not just a simple happy ending.
No.
There's this feeling that life on Clock Island, even in a house from her favorite books, is still going to be hard,
Right.
Angie's still sick and Lucy's family problems haven't magically gone away.
It's real life.
Yeah, life, even in a world with magic, isn't a fairy tale.
But there's still hope.
Oh, yeah.
This feeling that Lucy has finally found her place, a community where she and Christopher can belong and heal and grow.
That's what makes the ending so satisfying. It's
Right.
not about achieving one specific goal. It's about finding your people, the ones who see you for who you are and love you no matter what.
And speaking of finding your people, let's talk about Lucy and Hugo's relationship.
Oh, yes, that slow burn throughout the story.
Yeah.
Their connection gets deeper with every look, every vulnerable moment they share.
That scene in Hugo's studio where they open up about their losses and regrets.
Oh, so raw and intimate.
It shows such a deep understanding and empathy between them that goes beyond all the playful banter of the contest.
And the gift Hugo gives Christopher, that shark painting, it symbolizes Christopher's fears and Hugo's own healing journey.
Right. It says so much about how much affection is growing between them.
There's a lot of unspoken emotion in that gesture. It's like he's acknowledging the pain they've both been through.
Yeah.
And promising support and understanding. And when Hugo kisses Lucy's forehead before she goes to see Angie at the hospital,
Oh, yeah.
that is pure tenderness, unspoken love.
It's such a small gesture, but so powerful. It confirms their connection. And in the end, Hugo is the one who encourages Lucy to take the job with Jack.
even though it means giving up his own dreams of working with him.
That's true. Love, putting someone else's happiness before your own.
It shows how selfless he is, how willing he is to sacrifice for the people he cares about.
And that final image of Lucy and Hugo watching Christopher run towards Jack embracing the world of Clock Island,
I know.
it's just pure joy and hope.
The perfect ending. Don't you think it leaves you with this warm feeling, like anything is possible?
It does, but there's also this question that lingers,
What happens after the game ends?
right?
When real life starts again?
How will Lucy handle working for someone as mysterious and demanding as Jack Masterson? Will she and Hugo end up together? What about Angie's illness?
So many questions.
And that's what makes The Wishing Game so good.
Right.
It's a story that sticks with you long after you're done reading. It makes you think about your own desires and fears.
And your own definition of a happy ending. You know, as we've been talking about the wishing game, I keep thinking about this whole idea of wishes coming true. Like, it's almost a tool that Shaffer uses
Yeah.
to explore, deeper stuff, like what people long for and how complicated our desires can be.
That's such a good point. It's not just about, getting what you wish for, right? It's about, going on this journey to figure out what really matters deep down.
Exactly. Each character comes into this contest with a wish, but then they have to go through all these games and challenges, and that forces them to face their real motivations, the fears and insecurities that are driving them.
Like Andre the lawyer.
Yeah.
At first, he just wants to win to prove himself.
Right, to escape all the pressure from his job and his family.
But what he really wants is to reconnect with his dad.
To fix their relationship.
It shows that sometimes the things we want most are the things we've been ignoring.
Like those simple but important human connections.
And Melanie, the bookstore owner, she's trying to save her shop.
Right, to share her love of books with everyone.
But she's also carrying around all this pain from a past relationship.
She's afraid to be vulnerable again.
The contest helps her face those fears.
It helps her see that she deserves to be happy, even after heartbreak.
And even Dustin, the doctor, at first he seems greedy.
But deep down, he wants to make a real difference in the world.
Yeah, to leave a positive impact.
Shaffer really shows us all the layers of these characters. It reminds us that everyone has a story.
Right. A reason for why they do what they do.
And it's through those stories that we learn to understand each other.
I love that. It's like Shaffer saying that even in a competition, there's this deeper need for connection, for something that goes beyond winning a prize.
And Jack Masterson, the author,
Yeah.
he seems to get this. He sets up these encounters, these challenges, not just to test their knowledge of his books,
Right.
but to help them grow and discover themselves.
It's so interesting. Is he being kind or is he manipulating them?
It's a question that stays with you even after you finish the book.
He's such a complex character. He represents the power that authors have.
To shape stories, but also to recognize that characters have our own free will.
And Lucy, her journey is about finding her own power.
Exactly.
She might not have won the contest, but she gets something much better. A job with Jack, a home on Clock Island.
It shows how strong she is and how she's willing to embrace the unexpected.
It's a beautiful example of how sometimes the paths we don't plan for are the ones that lead us to where we need to be.
And it teaches us to let go of our expectations, to be open to the twists and turns of life.
That last scene with Christopher running toward Jack, so excited about Clock Island.
It's so full of hope. It reminds us that even as adults, there's still room for magic and possibility.
It's such a perfect ending. It leaves you feeling optimistic and believing in second chances.
It does.
So what can we learn from The Wishing Game? What stays with us after we close the book?
For me, it's a reminder that life is a journey, not a destination. It's about valuing the people we meet along the way, being open to surprises, and finding purpose in chasing our dreams, even when those dreams change shape.
That's beautifully said. And to our listeners, if you could compete in The Wishing Game, what would your wish be?
What hidden desires would you have to face? What unexpected paths would you be willing to take? Let us know in the comments. We always love hearing from you.
And until next time, keep reading, keep dreaming, and keep exploring the stories that shape our lives.